In the wilderness of Sinai, the Lord spoke to Moses in the tent of meeting, commanding him to take a census of the whole Israelite community. Every male aged 20 and older, able to serve in the army, was to be counted by their ancestral tribes and families. The total number of men fit for military service came to 603,550. The Levites, however, were not counted among them, as they were set apart to care for the tabernacle and its furnishings. The tribes of Israel were assigned specific places to camp around the tabernacle, ensuring order and organization. Each tribe had its own leader and banner. The tribe of Judah, with its large numbers, camped on the east side, followed by Issachar and Zebulun. To the south were Reuben, Simeon, and Gad. On the west side were Ephraim, Manasseh, and Benjamin. Dan, Asher, and Naphtali camped to the north. The Levites camped around the tabernacle itself to protect the community from the wrath of the Lord if anyone else came near. The Lord gave detailed instructions on the duties of the Levites, dividing them into 3 clans: the Kohathites, the Gershonites, and the Merarites. Each clan had specific responsibilities regarding the tabernacle's structure and its sacred items. The Kohathites were in charge of the sanctuary's most sacred objects. The Gershonites managed the curtains and coverings, and the Merarites took care of the frames and pillars. God also instructed Moses on the purification of the camp, emphasizing the importance of holiness. Anyone who was unclean due to a skin disease or contact with a dead body had to be sent outside the camp until they were purified. Additionally, there were laws regarding restitution for wrongs committed and the procedure for a woman suspected of infidelity. The Nazirite vow was introduced, allowing individuals to dedicate themselves to the Lord through a period of abstinence from wine, cutting their hair, and avoiding contact with the dead. At the end of their vow, they offered sacrifices and shaved their heads as a symbol of their commitment. The leaders of Israel brought offerings for the dedication of the altar. Each day for 12 days, one leader from each tribe brought offerings of silver, gold, grain, incense, and animals for sacrifice. These offerings symbolized the unity and devotion of the tribes to the Lord. The Lord spoke to Moses again, instructing him to set up the 7 lamps on the lampstand in the tabernacle, ensuring they illuminated the area in front of it. The Levites were then consecrated and purified for their service, symbolizing their total dedication to the Lord. As the Israelites prepared to leave Sinai, the Lord gave instructions on the use of silver trumpets to signal the community. The trumpets were to be blown to call the community together, announce the time to set out, and alert the people during times of war or celebration. On the 20th day of the 2nd month of the 2nd year, the cloud lifted from above the tabernacle of the covenant law, and the Israelites set out from the desert of Sinai. The Israelites had begun their journey from Mount Sinai to the Promised Land, but soon they started to complain about their hardships. Their grumbling displeased the Lord, and his anger was kindled. Fire from the Lord burned among them and consumed the outskirts of the camp. The people cried out to Moses, who prayed to the Lord, and the fire died down. This place was called Taberah, meaning burning, because the fire of the Lord had burned among them. Despite this warning, the people continued to grumble. They longed for the variety of foods they had in Egypt: fish, cucumbers, melons, leeks, onions, and garlic. They grew tired of the manna, the miraculous food that the Lord provided each day. The manna was like coriander seed and looked like resin. The people would gather it, grind it, cook it, and make it into cakes that tasted like something made with olive oil. But now, their craving for meat grew intense, and they wept aloud, each family at the entrance of their tents. Moses was deeply troubled by the people's complaints and went to the Lord, overwhelmed by the burden of leading them. He prayed, "I am your servant, Lord, so why are you doing this to me? What have I done to deserve this? You've made me responsible for all these people, but they're not my children. You told me to nurse them along and to carry them to the land you promised their ancestors. They keep whining for meat, but where can I get meat for them? This job is too much for me. How can I take care of all these people by myself? If this is the way you're going to treat me, just kill me now and end my miserable life." The Lord responded by instructing Moses